Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Thursday, August 19th, and this local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer. Beaver Toyota, here to wow you. As another surge of COVID-19 washes across Florida, local health officials say they are remaining at heightened alert status. John Arking reports.
The AdventHealth Central Florida Division says they'll remain at black status through at least Sunday, August 22nd. That's because they're currently caring for twice as many COVID-19 inpatients than they had in the two prior spikes in July of 2020 and January of 2021, and all their ICUs are at capacity. Combined with the fact that half of their patients are under the age of 44, their clinical teams are under an emotional strain, saying it's incredibly difficult to see patients this young and this sick. AdventHealth Palm Coast Chief Operating Officer Wally DeCino.
All the other previous waves started in Florida, started in Central Florida, and then it grew and it kind of moved towards Volusia County, Flagler County, etc. This time was a little bit different. This time we really got hit hard before many of our hospitals in Volusia County and then in Orlando area, right? And we know that Jacksonville was also getting hit hard. But the experience that we're seeing now is that the numbers are staying the same for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and we're hoping that the next change is south, right, decreasing the numbers. But now Central Florida, it continues to experience an increase there. So we think that the wave is moving the opposite way this time, and that could be good news for Flagler County.
By remaining at black status, AdventHealth says they'll be able to redeploy surgical and procedural staff to expand capacity and provide relief to other clinicians. They also continue to encourage vaccination. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
Plans to bring a higher-end apartment complex to Palm Coast stall. Amy Cherry has more.
Council was split in a vote 2-2 on a proposed development off Old Kings Road that would bring nearly 250 apartments to an area overlooking Graham Swamp. Councilman Nick Kloufis sought City Attorney Bill Reichman's advice on the issue on whether they should vote on the proposed development without Councilman Ed Danko present. Danko was quarantining due to a COVID exposure.
Well, potentially, if we're looking at this, is this something that without a fifth council member that we actually want to be voting on right now? I mean, just the way that it seems, having a full dais would potentially represent an outcome in vote. Is that something procedurally that we can discuss, Mr. Reichman? Or?
Well, you have several options. You could go ahead and I mean, there's a motion that's been made and seconded, so the council needs to take action on that. The other thing the council could do before taking action on that, it would be consider a motion to continue to a date certain for purposes of advertising.
Then they tried to vote.
I will move to approve the rezoning of more or less 10.85 acres from high-intensity commercial to multifamily residential for property known as the Tribute.
Is there a second?
After 10 seconds of silence,
there is no second.
Kloufis then passed the gavel to Vice Mayor Eddie Branquinho, and they voted. Mayor David Alphen and Kloufis are both in favor of rezoning the space for the development to move forward, but Branquinho and Councilman Victor Barbosa voted no. The split vote equals a failure. The development will come up for consideration again at Council's meeting on September 7th. By then, Councilman Danko will be back and could serve as a tiebreaker. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
A Palm Coast man faces felony animal cruelty charges. Karen Johnson reports.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office was recently alerted to a mental health emergency involving 54-year-old Darren Kubak after an incident at his home leading to the death of a cat. Sheriff Rick Staley.
This was a gruesome scene, and he has been charged with felony animal abuse.
Sheriff Staley says when deputies arrived, Kubak was standing in the driveway requesting to go to the hospital and stating it's too late. Unfortunately, the person who called 911 said Kubak had not been acting normal for several weeks and she was planning on taking him to the hospital for an evaluation. A veterinarian from the University of Florida determined the cat was strangled. As Sheriff Staley explains, Kubak has a long arrest record in Flagler County involving driving under the influence, aggravated assault, and contempt of court.
As this is exactly a textbook case on how individuals escalate, and he could eventually hurt human beings.
Kubak is now being held on a $100,000 bond. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
Flagler County Commissioner Andy Dance is joining the Water and Environmental Sustainability Policy Committee with the Florida Association of Counties.
just a natural tie-in to my background as a licensed landscape architect here in Florida. I've spent my career on basically water conservation and natural resource protection. So water is a huge issue. Water conservation and quality drinking water and protecting our natural resources are vital to a thriving economy here in Florida.
Commission Chair Donald O'Brien is serving on the Finance, Tax, and Administration Committee, while Vice Chair Joe Mullins is serving on the Federal Policy Committee as well as the Agriculture and Rural Affairs Policy Committee. 911 dispatchers here in Flagler County do more than just answer the phone.
Christine Mortimer, the Director of Communications with the Flagler County Sheriff's Office, said they do also text.
Text to 911 is available. You just open your text screen like you would any other text message, put in 911 in the to field, and you text us. I do encourage, if it's ever somebody has to use it, start the text with your location.
Mortimer said that 911 texting is great if you cannot speak.
It's super beneficial in a domestic situation or any situation where you know that talking will put you in danger.
Right. She said that if your kid accidentally calls 911, a deputy will come to your location because that's what they're supposed to do. The Flagler Voice is on WNZF every Saturday morning at 8:30. You can also catch it on the podcast on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, you too can be a 911 dispatcher. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.